This is so weird. We are just off the coast of the Queen Charlotte Islands, which is considered to be one of the wettest and windiest places in Canada, and yet my weather watch is not recording any difference. Do you notice any difference, Edie?
Yeah, I notice a bit of difference.
In this episode of CG Kids, we explore the Queen Charlotte Islands.
First, we find out what lighthouse living is all about. Then, we discover how the Haida First Nation is trying to preserve their heritage.
And we head down to the Guayhanas National Park Reserve and Haida Heritage Site, where we visit a Haida rediscovery camp.
In Jay's geology, there's a whole lot of shaking going on as I check out earthquakes.
So fasten your seatbelts because it's gonna be a high-flying wild ride, all on this episode of CG Kids.
Yikes!
Geographic Kids.
We are in northern British Columbia, about 53 kilometers from Alaska, but where we really want to be is out there. About 90 kilometers from this shore, out in the Pacific Ocean, is an amazing group of islands called the Queen Charlotte Islands. The only problem is we don't know how we're going to get there.
Hey, Jamie. I think I found us some transportation to the islands.
Good.
Come on. The Coast Guard says he's got room for us.
Oh, we're going to go by boat?
No, by helicopter.
Whoa.
There's just one little thing, though. I told him that we help him out with his supply delivery to some of the islands.
Oh, well, how many islands are we talking? 2 or 3?
Well, around 150.
150?
Yeah.
There are actually more than 150 named islands, which make up the Queen Charlotte Islands. But it's believed there could be hundreds more unnamed islands making up this archipelago. A group of islands is called an archipelago, and this one is about 300 kilometers long and up to 100 kilometers wide. The islands are divided into 2 ecoregions, the Queen Charlotte Ranges and the Queen Charlotte Lowlands. The 2 biggest islands are Graham Island in the north and Moresby Island in the south. Right now, Edie and Jamie are with the Coast Guard, and they're just passing over the coastal island called Banks Island. Once they get over Banks Island, they have to cross the Hecate Strait, which separates the Queen Charlotte Islands from the BC mainland. The water along the western side of the islands is pretty rough, and the area is famous for its winds and storms. It also rains 2 out of every 3 days on the islands. That's 242 days of the year. There are around 5,500 people currently living on the island, but at one time, there were as many as 14,000. They were part of the Haida First Nation. It's believed the Haida have inhabited the island for around 10,000 years. But years ago, diseases like smallpox caused a huge decrease in the population. Today, the southern part of the islands contain over 500 Haida heritage sites, which are protected by the Guayhanas National Park Reserve. The Haida call the islands Haida Guay, meaning islands of the people. Let's hope that Jamie and Edie make it to the island soon so we can find out more about its inhabitants.
We've caught a ride aboard this Canadian Coast Guard chopper thanks to our ace pilots Mike and Bob. First, we're visiting a family on a small island called Vanilla Island. We're about 32 kilometers from there, and we're enjoying the wonderful view.
Some of the tiny islands are so remote that they have to get supplies and mail flown in. They don't have a corner grocery store like most of us.
Bonilla Island is not part of the Queen Charlotte Archipelago, but it's along the way to them. The lighthouse on the island was built in the 1960s. There are around 264 lighthouses in Canada, but only 51 of these are actually manned by people, meaning the rest are run automatically. This helicopter pad is kind of like a driveway here. How cool is that?
So you must be the Amundsen's.
Yeah, that's us. Welcome to Vanilla Island.
The Amundstens have been living on this island for about 7 years. So can we check out the lighthouse?
Oh, certainly.
Great, which way?
Let's go up the stairs.
This is Unbelievable. This is so nice.
This is great. I can't believe you guys get to see this every day.
Yeah.
Do you ever go to the beach over there?
Yeah. In the canoe when it's calm.
And is the water really cold?
Yes.
It's freezing, but you guys don't care because it's the beach, right?
Yeah.
Do you ever see animals around here?
We see some whales sometimes.
And do you know what kind of whales you see?
Well, mostly do we see humpbacks.
That's incredible.
Yeah, that's amazing.
And a few killer whales.
You saw a killer whale?
Yeah.
What about sea lions?
Yeah. Some of them live on a rock out that direction.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Do they ever come to your island?
Well, not that we know of.
But you hear sometimes them going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes they can sound very grumpy.
Do they?
Yeah.
Well, I guess that's why they call them sea lions, eh?
Mm.
Because they kind of are like the lions in the water. So Ron, as a lighthouse keeper, what are some of your duties?
Well, of course, the most important one is to keep the light going around up there at night and during the daytime too.
How strong is the bulb up there? Is it like a 60 watt?
The bulb is a 1,000-watt bulb. They call it a 15-mile light, but it's actually visible for a lot farther. But because the Earth is curved,
Yes.
a boat that's 15 miles away can see it. If you go a little beyond that, you're over the edge of the
horizon?
horizon and you can't see it.
A lighthouse keeper also has to file weather reports to the Coast Guard on conditions such as wind speed and direction, temperature, and visibility. These reports are done every 3 hours because the weather changes so often, like this fog that has just rolled in.
So you ready? Do you know what you're gonna say?
Almost. Levi, what was the wind doing?
It was an average of 8.
Okay, great. Okay, Benilla is obscured, 1/8 of a mile in fog. North 8, 1 foot chop.
Okay, thanks and good afternoon.
Heidi and Levi, what is your favorite part about living on the island?
Well, my favorite part is having lots of room to play and do stuff without having to worry about anything hurting us.
Levi?
My favorite part is that we don't have to lock anything.
So you don't have to worry about things getting stolen and stuff? So what about school? What do you guys do for that?
We homeschool mostly.
What does that mean?
We do our school at home.
So your mom and dad teach you everything you need to know?
Yeah.
And how do you like that?
It's fun because it doesn't take up all of our time.
That gives Levi and Heidi more time to play with Tef, their 4-year-old miniature horse.
Whoa.
Uh-oh, animal craziness.
For a little horse, Tef sure does some big-time prancing. Yikes!
Book for hire. Get your scenic book tours of Queen Charlotte Islands. Hey, hi!
What are you doing?
I'm giving tours of the islands, and if you want one, you better get them quick, because they're going like hotcakes.
You're actually gonna take people in that thing?
Sure I am.
Do you know how many islands there are and how treacherous the waters are?
And besides, there's already a ferry running from Prince Rupert, and it takes 6 hours to get to the islands.
Well, if Queen Charlotte made it here, so can I.
Queen Charlotte didn't come here. The Queen Charlotte Islands are named after a boat that came here.
Well, that's an even better idea. I'll call my boat the King Eldon, and then we can name the islands King Eldon Islands after my boat.
Hey guys, guess what time it is?
It's triviography time, and the question is, what is a shoal?
Shoal?
And it's not something you wear when you're cold.
Ernie, would you be a peach and get me my shawl?
Oh, sure thing, Snookums.
Oh.
Don't worry, I'll be back any minute, dear.
And it's not a little furry mammal. Edie, do you think you could steer us a little further from the shore?
Sorry.
Ugh.
Don't get steered the wrong way trying to get this answer.
Oh no, we're gonna crash!
Well, we finally made it. Jamie's a little relieved, but I told you I'd get us here, ye of little faith.
Okay, we are in the town of Skidegate on the Queen Charlotte Island's most populated island, Graham Island. This island also has the largest Haida population in all of Canada.
By 1900, the Haida population declined to barely more than 500 people. But today, the Haida are reclaiming their land and their culture.
And that's not all they're reclaiming. Thanks to the Haida Repatriation Program, hundreds of native Haida artifacts and remains from around the world are being reclaimed and brought back to the islands.
And we're gonna find out how we can help.
Let's go!
Inside this workshop, dozens of traditional cedar boxes are being built and painted to hold the Haida ancestral remains once they're returned. Can you tell us about bentwood boxes? What are they?
Well, these ones here are for our remains that we're getting back from museums around the world. So the ones that you see here will be burial boxes.
And is that their only use?
No, in the old days they would have used different boxes for different things. One of them would have been for storing their clothes, another box would have been made for storing their food or for carrying water, for cooking in.
Why would people in the past want to collect the bentwood boxes?
Well, there were different reasons that they would want the bentwood boxes. One of them was the elaborate designs on the box, because they were really well carved and they were of great value to collectors around the world. But the museums also paid for the skeletal remains to do studies on them.
So Andy, you're gonna show us how to make a bentwood box.
Yeah, I'm going to show you how to cut them, and these are the cuts that the Haidas used to do with just chisels.
These days, Andy's using power tools because he's had to build over 300 boxes. There is a traditional way of making them. Only one piece of wood can be used, so 4 cuts have to be made into each piece of cedar.
So now we have the grooves, and hopefully they're 1/8 of an inch left on it. Let's just check first.
The grooves have to be a certain measurement, so when the wood is steamed, it can be bent.
Good enough.
Great. At first, it took Andy a week to build a box, but now it takes him a day. We're only making a miniature one, so it'll take us even less time. The symbols painted on the boxes are family crests.
We do get the artist to come in and freehand draw them on, and then we'll make a template over that so we can keep doing them on the boxes, because they do take a long time to do a design. And we'll leave it like that for somebody that's going to come in and volunteer painting them. But mostly it's the high school students that do this as a part of their Haida studies.
Now the boxes need to be clamped flat so they can be steamed to soften the wood.
Okay, you guys are going to have to help me with this, and make sure you watch out for the steam.
Okay.
Once the wood has steamed for 20 minutes, it's soft enough to try and bend. Now the hard part, bending the wood without breaking it.
Okay, now we need to bring this end up.
Slowly, slowly.
Ooh, it's good. It's working.
Yeah, slowly. Thanks, Andy, for showing us how to make bentwood boxes.
Yeah, now anyone can do it at home. Not at all, because it's way harder than you think to make a bentwood box.
Hey guys, we're back with the answer to our triviography question.
Safely back, thanks to me. The question is, what is a shoal?
Shoal. A shoal is a shallow area of the water that can be pretty dangerous to boats. Shoals can be found in narrow channels, inlets, and around islands, and contain rocks, sand, or debris just under the surface of the water. That's why shoals, for centuries, have been a danger to ships. A boat sailing along might not see one and could run aground. There are a number of shipwrecks along the west coast of the Queen Charlotte Islands, and that's why the lighthouses are so important to help guide the boats safely past.
We're trying to get to the southern area of the Queen Charlotte Islands, which contain around 138 tiny islands of the more than 150.
This area is a Guayhanas National Park Reserve and Haida Heritage Site, which protects about 500 major Haida archaeological areas. We definitely need a boat.
Or a helicopter.
Or how about a float plane?
That'll do.
We're gonna pay a visit to a kids' summer camp. This area of the islands once contained over 120 Haida villages. Today, the Haida have appointed watchmen to live at and watch over these sites.
The watchmen are legendary and are symbolized on totem poles by 3 human figures wearing high hats. Haida legends say they were to alert the villagers of any approaching enemy.
Hello.
Hi there.
How's it going?
Very good.
Good to meet you.
I'm Danny. Nice to
Hi,
meet
Danny.
you too.
Hello.
Welcome to
Jamie.
Swan Bay Rediscovery.
What is a rediscovery camp?
Well, right now we're just doing it with the kids from the Skidegate village here in Haida Gwaii, but it's going to grow into an opportunity for kids from all over the world to come and experience some Haida culture in this beautiful wilderness setting.
So what are some of the activities that take place in a rediscovery camp?
Here, what we've been focusing on is learning a lot about the culture, reintroducing the kids to some of the things that might have been lost over time.
This song that Corey is drumming to is called the Headdress Song.
So when would the Haida sing the headdress song?
For the chiefs of high esteem on special occasions like naming feasts, dinners, and stuff like that.
Like any camp, one of the best parts is playing games.
And the idea of the game is all of us are going to be Haida hunters. Back 100 years ago, we didn't have guns, we didn't have traps, nothing like that. We had to be really stealthy and move through the forest quietly.
The person blindfolded points when they hear a noise. Their seeing partner decides who they're pointing at and sends them off.
Christine.
The object is to quietly snatch the scarf and you win.
Everyone know what a cedar tree looks like?
The Rediscovery Camp also uses a fire starting competition to help teach basic survival skills. And we're off! First, we have to gather enough kindling to make a tiny fire.
What'd you get? Look at this. We got some good stuff.
Is that wet though? To make sure it's not wet.
When you build your fire, you want to build a little sort of lodge in which that fire is going to be in, because when it first gets going, it's like a little baby. It needs a lot of attention.
We only get one match to get our fire going. Sounds easy, right?
Wait. What do you think about the wind?
Of course, for this competition, we have adult supervision, and we're safely away from the forest.
You want to be really close to your fire so you're ready to put it right in there. Atta girl. Oh, that wind.
Alana was really smart. She gathered some pitch off the bark of a spruce tree. It's normally a great fire starter.
Okay, strike when ready.
But not today.
Jamie's fire. Are you ready?
Yes.
Take your magical match. The one match. The difference between raw salmon and cooked salmon. Okay, let's block that wind. And there you go. Strike safely. Strike away. That's right. Oh! Bummer! Okay, it's Edie's turn now, and we'll see if she has what it takes to light with one match. Oh, that wind is a killer!
Out of the whole group, Jay is the only one who managed to light a fire.
Woo! We got our fire going! Jade's our first fire lighter so far. Good news.
I guess she's the only one having cooked salmon tonight.
Whoa, this bridge isn't all that steady. I'm not used to something moving under my feet. But if you live in the Queen Charlotte Islands, you get accustomed to it pretty fast. This area experiences around 300 earthquakes a year. That's more than anywhere else in Canada. Earthquakes occur when pressure that has been building up underground is suddenly released. They can be barely noticeable, or they can completely destroy buildings. There are 4 main earthquake regions in Canada: along the St. Lawrence River and into the Maritimes, up in the Arctic Islands, the Yukon's Mackenzie Valley, and especially along Canada's west coast. which includes the Queen Charlotte Islands. The crust of the Earth is like a giant jigsaw puzzle, made up of big pieces of rock called plates. These plates are moving very slowly, just a few centimeters a year. They can push into each other, move apart from each other, or slide by each other. And sometimes, this can cause an earthquake. The Queen Charlotte Islands lie where the North American plate meets the Pacific plate, and these plates are sliding past each other. This makes this area one of the most active geological zones in the whole world. To find out just how these moving plates make the earth quake, let's head into the lab. An earthquake can happen because as the plates of the Earth's surface move, intense pressure and stress build up within the area where the two plates meet until finally it needs to be released. These bricks represent the Earth's plates. I've put some stretchy tubing around my top brick and attached a core to it. Plates are always moving and exerting a force. See how the tubing is stretching? But the brick isn't moving. But then the pressure on the brick builds up until the top brick slips and releases the pressure. Check it out. The line doesn't match up anymore. This represents the shifting that took place. An earthquake releases energy in a series of waves called seismic waves. Watch what happens when I repeat my experiment. See how the waves in the water traveled away from the spot where the plates moved? It was pretty fast. Let's see it again in slow-mo. Seismic waves travel like this, but through the Earth, so you can imagine why things get pretty shaken up. Scientists use an instrument called a seismometer to measure the strength of an earthquake. A seismometer is anchored securely into the ground, so it can withstand a quake while it measures it. Mine's not that secure, as I'm using a shoebox and a weighted pen to record the Earth's movement. As I pull this paper along, the pen draws a straight line since the Earth is currently still. But if I thump the table, the pen draws a zigzag line, measuring the amount of movement. Earthquakes are often measured using what's called a Richter scale. An earthquake measuring greater than 8 on the scale will cause some pretty serious damage. Luckily, not many reach higher than 9. Unless you count my incredible earthquake milkshake, it's definitely a 10.
A fantastic fact about the Queen Charlotte Islands is that scientists believe that most of the islands actually managed to escape the last ice age that occurred around 10,000 years ago across North America. And because of this, the islands contain at least 39 native species or subspecies of plants and animals that are unique to the islands. One of these is a larger subspecies of black bear. So, who knows what other rare animals or marine life are yet to be discovered?
Wow, these islands are incredible.
Although not easy to travel around.
That's for sure. Helicopter, float plane, and now ferry.
Yeah. You know, Edie, I'm a little worried because according to my weather watch, we're due for a big storm right now.
But it's beautiful out.
I know. I'm still gonna get my umbrella.
Hurry, Jamie!
Oh, I guess it was one of those sudden storms.
I guess your weather watch can't predict sudden waves.
Ah, Lily. Oh, look at those birdies. That's beautiful. Ah, yes, the Queen Charlotte Islands. Nothing like it, yes. I should have brought my paddles or something. What am I gonna do now? Well, what was that bump? Oh, that wasn't killer whales or something. This is killer whale territory. I'm gonna paddle my way out of here.